Or, okay, gotcha.
So step 2 was to read them and do the same
Yeah,
thing.
step 2 is to read them and score them on this second line right here on step 2, right there. And 4, 3, 2, 1, 4 being your favorite, and 1 being your least favorite, or the one you can't stand either. Any questions?
Yeah. And 2 tied? For 1 point?
I
that's not
see.
it.
Yeah, that's tough, I know. Is it one of your top ones or one of your bottom
My
ones?
bottom. Okay. Do you score the same thing you're talking about, 4 points?
4, 3, 2.
You don't have any matches, and maybe I do need a psychiatrist here. Okay. I said none of them match. I just, yeah, we just chose.
Oh, all of yours match.
All right. Go ahead and start on step 3. Step 3 is, will take the most time, and that's this page right here, the one you're scoring on. It's the survey. We're going to take the survey now. This is where it gets really confusing. I promise. It even is after 13 years in computer. Okay, but the one you like the most again is 4. 4 is your top. 4, 3, 2, 1. So again, as you read these, for example, let's all read number 1. It says, when I have to make a decision, I like to A, make it quickly and get on to other things. B, take my time, gather the facts and think it through logically. C, see how others feel about it, then choose what's best for everyone. D, consider what was done before and proceed carefully. So, were I taking this and B was my favorite, I would put a 4 on B. And then I would put a 3 on A, put a 2 on D, and C would be 1. Every So, just read every one of them, mark it.
Los Angeles, if you're gonna know.
Yeah, I've actually worked on that. There's no way this is. How we doing? Any questions on it?
What are we doing with that number?
You just go ahead and give it to them. And go ahead and you total them up, you total all your A's, so A, all your A's. The total number, okay, the number, you total it. And then if you did it right, you should end up, it should equal 100 there. And if you did, whatever. You close?
I did it.
One. Okay, these total.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and so what that will do is that will tell you what your color preference is. And that's what oh, I assume okay, so how are we doing? Any questions on it? Again, if you hit it correctly,
Yeah.
these will equal 10, this will equal 100. And then go ahead and total this direction. It's just so hard.
Yeah, when you're done, then you
Okay. How you doing?
Good.
So. Do you know that?
Blue is nice.
And if you want to have a few minutes, and I'm not gonna get into that, but on the backside, you can plot your preferences, you can see your market, but that's really an exercise for home. And you can do it. Yeah. And what's awesome is to have, to go home and have your spouse take it. Or significant other, or whatever is close,
Yes, not.
or your friend. That child that you don't know what to do with, I've got a few of them. All right, got there? All right. Yes or no? There? Yep, all the way around. Okay, so go ahead and circle your top color. Circle it, mark it, put a star by it, something. And let's see, what I would like, trying to see what one. Go together, we'll share some. You're blue, what are you? Blue. Okay, that didn't surprise me. You? You're blue. You? Okay, orange. All right. So let's go ahead and have the blues. All the blues come over here. So anyone's blue, their number one color blue right here. I'd like anyone that is green right here. Okay, and then where most of you? Okay, the golds are here. So the gold will stay here. And who's left over?
Orange here?
All right.
This our goal. I'm a goal. This is my peak. My peak.
And that's okay. We'll talk about it. We'll see. Some of the pictures on there. You know what? Don't just have to do All right.
They just got done.
It was brought to my attention, that you all don't know each other. And I made the assumption that you all are serving on the committee, you all knew each other, and you're like this, like tight-knit group. I really are. So, obviously I was wrong. And Scott just explained that you all don't know each other.
Before we do the introductions though, we have some snacks over here. And if people want to grab snacks, then we'll bring you back, then we'll do the introductions for everybody.
Yeah,
Settle
there you
a
go.
little bit, and then we'll move on to the next part.
But I do want you to take care of yourselves just really quick when we come back. So let's go ahead and grab
So
something.
snacks, water,
Snacks.
stuff,
Sugar.
grain soon. You can have snacks. Yeah. So life is good. We are really, really happy right now. Talk about newborns. Yeah. Was it
Not even
But it starts at not home yet.
World needs battlefield.
So what it does and then
signed for 1 year after my son just.
So I've never had this opportunity, this is actually kind of fun, to have you introduce yourself. Now knowing who you are.
We'll do one by one. Recorder's taking roll. We want to know who's here, so.
Okay,
And she isn't familiar with everybody, so we want to make sure everybody's kind of loud. We can hear her.
we do have one mic if anybody really want it.
Why don't you talk about it, we're good.
Okay, so I'm going to do, and I'm going to do the worst thing you can possibly do to a green, and have a green table introduce themselves first. So, I knew that's exactly what I'm doing. So, all right, go ahead and start.
Why green by what? My name's Wayne Mel.
Wait, what? She's looking
Sure, lived in Pleasant Grove for, I guess, 15 years now. Moved here from Arizona and relaxed in Texas for a number of years, but grew up in Utah. So have 6 kids and 2 still at home. So felt like very interested in the whole process of public buildings and those types of things. And so I'm excited to be here.
the right place then, aren't you? Okay.
Yeah, the green.
She's trying to figure out if she really is a green. I can tell you, yes, she's a No, I don't know that. But, go ahead, because will you introduce yourself first? Sure. I would hear your
That's fine. I'm Frank Anderson, I've been here for 18 years, 10 children, finally empty nesters, that's my off mission. And just excited to see what the committee can put together.
Apparently she's moving.
I did make it this morning, I want you to know.
So where are you going? Oh, this is interesting.
So green is my second.
I'm Bill West. I go back, I guess, all 4 of my grandparents were pioneers, so we were in Pleasant Grove. We moved away for a while, went to after graduate school in Texas, and then lived in Washington DC and Florida for 20 years. Moved back in the early 80s. We've been there most of the time since we spent 3 years in Ukraine in the early 2000s. I had 5 children, they all graduated Pleasant Grove High School, all went to Utah State, all Aggies.
Yes.
So, I don't know, what else you want to know? I'm really interested in.
I already like it, so.
I'm not an Aggie though, I'm a Cougar, or a Longhorn, one or the other. But anyway,
Your kids went to you.
yeah, we did. I spent a lot of time looking with them back and forth, too, so we love them. I've just been really interested in trying to see if we can solve this problem, and get some fixes going for our public safety people and move the city forward in an important way. So I'm glad to be involved.
Jason Kruger, I didn't say my address.
No.
I grew up in Pleasant Grove, and here's, my parents moved when I was 1. Lived in Chicago for a couple of years, in Detroit for a summer, and realized that Pleasant Grove's the greatest place, so my family and I bought a house here about 7 years ago. And I want this committee to work and for us to find a solution that will last for a long time.
I'm Christy Belt, and I've lived here for 16 years. My first daughter is moving away next Wednesday. And we have 2 more at home, and we love living in Pleasant Grove, and I am just sick of the bickering, and I feel bad for the firefighters because the bathrooms have been up where they are from their sleeping quarters, and I would be terrible. And so I'm just excited for us to start putting our heads together and finding a solution that everyone can agree on. And that's all.
So counterclockwise.
I'm Randy Fern, originally from Heber City, Utah. I moved here to Pleasant Grove, lived here for about 33 years now. I've been here a long time, seen a lot of different things change, seen where the fire station was lowered down once before, many years ago, when this issue came up. And I am by trade, I was a facilities person. I worked as an electrician for many years, in commercial industrial work, and I did this in a commercial industrial wiring for 16 years, and then I worked for Utah Transit Authority Facilities. So I've been taking care of facilities and working with people ever since. And so being a facility person, trying working with everybody that deals with money, and everybody deals with engineering, and deal with everything. There's different things that I've learned from dealing with all those people, general contractors too. So I've taken a wide selection of knowledge that I've gained from all of them, and thought, I'd like to bring that in to see if I can help us put together this puzzle of fusion of see not go in detail, but where we saw an empty check that was being put out by the city, out to build a building with no print training to show us, and then see a lot of effort put it into place to say, let's show you those construction figures, show you a building, put that in there and see if it missed, goes down again. Say, like I told them once in the meeting I got to, I don't want to see it fail. I want to see something happen that's going to be done right. So I'm glad we draw the community so I can have input and say, we need to not just, and one of the former city councilmen said if it didn't pass / vote, that it would never be tabled and we'd never come back for years and years and years. And I didn't want to see that happen. I wanted to see the needs there, problems made, and then we made a full-time fire department from a volunteer fire department. So we made a big problem there in the city with that. I want to try to see if there's a solution to be able to take care of some of the issues that's now came up that the mayor's trying to say, how can I solve this problem? I'm glad he called this group together to see what we can do to try to put a solution to this issues. It's now no problem.
Let me just ask you to introduce yourselves,
Okay.
not have a platform yet at this point. No, there'll be plenty of time for that. And we can even talk about it as part of this group, but one reason I started with the Greens, I knew they'd be short and sweet. You know that? Okay. All right, go ahead.
What would you like to know about it?
I'd like to know your name, and how long you've lived here in Pleasant Grove. Just a little bit about you, not necessarily this issue in particular. Okay, yeah, just you.
Well, I was really liking everybody's comments.
Do you want to keep going that way?
I'm fairly proud.
I'm okay.
To be part of the group that's committed to this task for different reasons.
Let me ask Scott.
Well,
What do you want?
I mean, it depends on how long we want to be here tonight.
Yeah.
So I think the purpose, and maybe we didn't communicate this, but the purpose was to do the exercise. We're going to have plenty of committee meetings going forward. We're going to have a lot of things talked about. So I think tonight isn't getting into the nitty gritty on how we're going to solve the problem. It's a little bit more of trying to understand each other and where we're coming from. So I think that's kind of where we're headed. Mayor, this is your committee, so.
Let me help just a bit. I'll restate what I stated in the beginning. It's to get to know each other in a way that we get a better feeling for what makes us tick, so that as we work together and we discuss, we understand where that other person is coming from. You guys are the gold table, is that right? Gold means something in this discussion. This is the blue table. The green, that means you guys are the oranges, which blows my mind. Looking at you guys, knowing that you're orange. So I think that's kind of where.
My name is Jan, a fine Dutchman, Jan Orman. And my wife and I lived in Pleasant Grove for 3.5 years. We moved here because we had 12 grandchildren close by. We moved here, we moved to Pleasant Grove. And we love the community. And many of our neighbors are from the old-time families that have been here forever. So we have a lot of respect for that tradition. But I, like Christie, was a little bit startled with the contention that we felt around the safety bill. I just want to say, because it helps to know where I'm coming from, that I spent my whole life in Latin America trying to promote community development, trying to bring communities together to take action and solve the problems instead of worried about government. And I believe that there's a possibility this fact of uniting Pleasant Grove and doing something that I think is critical for our future. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much.
My name is Tracy Scott. I've lived here in Pleasant Grove for 2.5 years. I lived in Highland for 26 years. I live in a small house on a small lot, so I live in Old Pleasant Grove on the second east and second north. It's a really old house, but I love a lot. And I am a reading specialist at a school over in Lehigh, so I will be really helpful in the reading stuff to you all. If you need help with that.
And I teach fifth graders, so I'm very good at solving problems.
Jacob Such. I've lived in Pleasant Grove for about 17 years, I think. But previous to that, I lived in Linden and American Fork, so I haven't gone too far. My family has quite a bit of experience with the historical part of Pleasant Grove. And about 12 years ago, me and my wife decided to remodel our home, which was built in the 1890s, and work with the state architect to update it and add on to it and to save it.
Yeah, that's fine. Town where I lived in.
I'm Andrea Snow. I've lived in Pleasant Grove for 15 years. I came here from Provo, and I am officially a Viking. I have 4 kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I want to leave Pleasant Grove better than I found it if I should ever live.
I'm Molly Andrew. I'm originally from Petrel, Idaho, where Scott has roots, and Barrington is not a common name, so I made that match. I graduated from Utah State, taught 5th grade for 6 years. Put my husband through school. He graduated from Utah State with his master's. We're here with 3 Viking football players and 1 middle soccer player. Has we fit everything in?
Sounds busy.
I am Steve Schrader. I have lived in Pleasant Grove since I married my sweetheart, who is a longtime queen of Pleasant Grove. For probably, I think since 1996, we lived in California for a while, graduated from construction management, and have 4 daughters and a little granddaughter. And skiing's better here than it is in Colorado. And that's right.
Got it now.
I'm Karen Harris. I've lived back in Pleasant Grove for about 3 years now. Kind of from a lot of places, because we moved around a lot, it's kind of construction we're at. My dad knows hospitals. I think American Fork is my hometown, because that's where I have some like childhood memories. But we did live in Pleasant Grove, except it was back and forth, like in the summers. So I don't know exactly how much time I spent overall in Pleasant Grove. I kind of always felt at home in Pleasant Grove, because that's where I lived. I've been married for 6 years, no kids, but we have a dog. I used to do service dog training, and she didn't make it through the program.
So that dog is
She's half golden retriever, half black, but she's like tall. She was very tall. I've got my degree in biology, focusing on animal care, animal therapy, Tuesdays, giraffes, dogs.
That's interesting.
I'm Trina Bowman, soon to be Bizarre.
I'm hoping to get married next month. Waiting for cancellation to go through. So once that goes through, we will set a date. I have 7 children, 19 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. I just retired from the BYU Police Department. I was at BYU for 18 years. And the travel agency for 10 years. So I've been all over the world and had a lot of fun there. But I do have a son, my youngest, that was on the 98 Viking baseball team that took state the last time before this year. So we were so excited to have him this year and actually take that state trophy. And I love Pleasant Grove. Living here 20 years, I absolutely love Pleasant Grove. It's like a little piece of heaven to me. And I just want to be a part of some of those decisions and be able to work with you in coming to those decisions, and then being able to teach the other residents of Pleasant Grove and help them to understand the planning and the thinking behind it so that we can come together and get everything figured out.
Okay, Mike Daniels, originally from Hawaii, born in Boston, but my brothers and sisters were all born in Hawaii. So that's where I grew up, yes, on the beaches and all that kind of stuff. I go back as often as I can. I'm in the movie business, meaning that we own movie theaters and we show movies, and it fits. It finally feels like I have some kind of a career that, or a job ownership that I'm interested in, and it's providing a service to people that they can afford, so that's important to me. We have 6 children. The oldest is off doing a master's program in North Carolina. The youngest and second youngest are living at home. We have one at home that should be gone. So we're trying to kick him out, but we'll see how that goes. I've spent quite a bit of time volunteering with Pleasant Grove City, either as a citizen or in city council, and also as a mayor. My desire here is that we can, I really like to, that's why I'm on the blue table. I like to bring people together from different walks of life and pool together our resources and our minds to come up with a solution that meets everyone's needs. And so, there you go.
Fantastic. What a wide array of talent you have here. It's crazy. So, one per table. All right. What's God's going to do there is going to have one of those per table. What's that?
It says a little sticky on there. Just beware of that.
Designate someone undescribed.
And you guys, do you want me to take your place?
So you really want someone that. All right. This is.
A little sticky.
Okay, what I'd like you to do now, are you ready to move on? Okay, what I'd like you to do now is write on this piece of paper what values, joys, strengths, and needs that you have. Just write down values, joys, strengths, and needs. You know, where does it come to your mind? So,
As a community?
yes, and yes, personally, as a community, just however you want to do it. We have to leave this really open because you'll understand that this discussion.
Can you let us know what the little chart there?
Yes, I can.
Values, joys, strengths.
Can you see this, can you read this whole screen? Okay.
Do you want me to send it anyway, or can we just all?
Any way you want. This is yours.
Joy, strengths, and needs. Personal.
I was just going. I'm just reading. Every personalities. Good job.
This is not related to food, this is just art.
You're having a big one, I'll put.
So, thank you.
I value you too, and I need you. I value you too, and I need you.
Other than blue, you don't belong. All right, go ahead.
Because she.
Do you want to just have all, or do you want to be free?
I know, I'm trying to sit down
Value something
I did mix
What else? You'll get it. I know.
So as long as I can still be open.
My golds are acting like oranges, my oranges are acting like golds, I don't know what to do. It's really cool, I mean, this is really a neat group. I imagine a lot of these have orange. Goals. And you're very sweet. And that's usually what I see from golds. Exactly. And colas or let's go ahead and go to the next phase. I'd like to start with grades, and there's a reason for that, so go ahead and come up to bring your paper and put it up on Dave. And you're going to remind me your name because I don't have tense. Wayne. Okay, Wayne's going to tell us a little bit about history.
So it's kind of weird to get by yourself. Values, I guess, things just apply to me. There's no one else's off. Things I really value honesty and ability from people. Some of the joys I get at least are from the success of my family and also I get in a work relationship. Strengths, I appreciate people that have a lot of wisdom and intelligence, and this needs list could be a lot longer, but I feel like the ability to feel safe, receive kindness and compassion and empathy from people also.
Okay, very good. And one of the things that he did say to me is he said, I I could be somewhere else because I'm close, but I like being by myself. That's a very green thing to say, all right? Almost always, my mom taught me never to say always, because, you know, so I can use that, but almost always you will get this, the intelligence on there, and this, and those are two that you see almost every time with the greens.
What's the
What
top
was the
one?
second one?
Dependability and intelligence.
Dependability, intelligence. Those are things that are very important to someone who is a green. And let's go with the blues.
We like to do lists at the bottom.
This is the bottom up.
So the one thing that we all found out was that we all thought the same time.
Okay, I can see that. My wife is a blue, and yes, that's very important to her. Dark chocolate.
Rabbit's ice cream.
There you go.
Make people happy, giving, nurturing. Oh, you broke yours into categories.
Yeah, I thought about that. That's because you.
She was very organized.
That's a great thing to do.
Integrity is also
Sorry, it's a little.
understanding people's motives. Everybody felt like they had a gift of understanding motives. Hard to offend, like to focus on the problem, not the symptoms. I don't remember talking about that.
What's that?
What does it say?
Don't yell at us.
That's another.
It's kind of a blue thing.
Oh, okay. Bring people together, good listeners. What does this again, care about us? What does that mean?
In a relationship.
That's good enough.
Yeah, phony.
Yeah.
Open up, like people to open up to us. And this one, seeing others succeed, overcome challenges, meet goals. It's not seeing others win the lottery, it's seeing others overcome their challenges. Succeed to hardships. It's not like succeed by, they won the lottery, yeah, that's better. I'll yell at you.
Wow. You know what? You just about write down the list. If I were to open the book and go down it, they got them all. Okay, every one of them.
We read the book.
Yeah. The ones that you see, this top one is the one that they, wow, you see, anything blues want people to be happy. You didn't see that over here, did you?
Come on, start yelling.
And let's see, there's another one. Oh, care about dark chocolate. My wife just said, she really, and I said that she really is so blue, and that's one of her top things. But you know what? Empathy, peacemaking, they're the nurturers of the world, and those things are very important. Before I move on, I want to, so you can see some differences with these two, right? These two are considered on the chart, these two are opposites. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Yep. So now let's go ahead with oranges. This is really interesting to me. This is I usually end with oranges, but this is just really interesting. And I don't even poke fun. It's just we have it. And this is.
Yeah, you come up in a second.
Okay, let's listen to the oranges.
All right, so values, we went with integrity, which I think we heard over there. Economy, maximizing value, wise shepherding of your resources, practicality, and compromise. We started with the word consensus. We said, no, that's not right. We wanted to get to a win-win. Getting to a win-win was what was better than consensus. On our strengths, we said analytical, the ability to paint a picture, communicate an idea, take a concept, and make it to where other people can understand it, ability to make a decision, needs, we want some resolution, we want to get an informed decision, and independence and freedom, we agree on all of those. On the joys, humor and fun, we thought that was important, but efficiency, love the aha moments, where just light bulbs go off, and success.
Okay, well, at least you finally got one. Okay, no, okay, when you read the book, which, you know, there's no such thing, when we talk about this, the thing that's important to recognize is that, and we're trying to categorize, but the next step is to not categorize, all right? So we're trying to categorize right now and say, and so if you read the book, the thing that you almost always see, but no, you don't, you always see this, is this one right here. This word freedom, independence are really, really important to an orange. There is really nothing that is more important to an orange than those things. It's this, and the word that they didn't put on here, and I'm gonna write it, fun. Oh, you see fun?
Top right.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I didn't hear it. Sorry. See, I wasn't paying attention. Fun. You have to have fun. Everything. Life has to be fun. I have a son that's 17, and most children have a lot of orange in them because of these reasons. They love their independence. They want to have fun, and they want things to be moving. They want the energy. They want, you know, boom, 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 boom. But ever since he was tiny, and I don't mean to bring religion this, so I apologize in advance for this. But when he would say his evening prayers, he always says, "And I bless him that they will have fun." I mean, everything has always been fun. He has said that since the time he was teeny, and he's 17 now, and that's what his life is real like. F-U-N. It's a 3-letter word. Yeah. All right. These are good. I mean, you see these a lot in it. You know, the integrity. Usually the win means that they want to win. Okay, and they hope that the rest of the group comes with them. But usually oranges, it's more important that somebody wins and it's them, because they're very competitive. You really want to push that as hard as they can. And sometimes, and the thing that's really cool about that is they will push a team to win. And that's the thing that's really cool about an orange is they want and they want everybody else to follow. So my next group who are golds, who have a lot of orange in them, I'm going to come up now. I don't
Okay, so I think I drew long, I think I'm blue. Serious, I fit that.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why our chart looks like this.
See. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So you're the blue.
So I'm the blue.
It's either blue or orange. So I mean, okay. And that's okay. Blues often will do lines, but she's a second. Yeah, her second is green. And greens are list people too.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
what words do you want?
The ones that are most important.
Security, comfort, and predictability.
Okay.
Sharing?
Predictability is really important to you guys, isn't it? Yeah.
Children, grandchildren, I think the things we value, food, shelter, integrity. Organize, this was not mine, I'm sorry, I didn't write organize there.
But organize is very important to most of you all, right? Yeah.
Family, community, integrity, food, compassion, peace and quiet, communication, family, motherhood, integrity, unbalanced.
Unbalanced.
Outdoors. I didn't write that, I didn't help.
I wrote that.
What does unbalanced mean?
Well, we were talking about how we're kind of unbalanced in our organization of putting the things on the chart.
So right there you were unbalanced, and I was driving some of the people crazy around.
Yeah.
It was driving Annie crazy. Moral values, children, religion, family, running, friends, peaches, service, religion, integrity.
Peaches? You know, that's interesting, because, peaches, what are peaches?
Yes.
This is, you know beach days here. This is, what day? Strawberry. Yeah, I remember seeing it on your website. I remember that's. All right. So, what are the words that really stand out well, I brought them to, predictability is like really important to goals. Generally, you will see something more like this, or even this from that group. They really feel like lists. They check things off lists. They live by lists, and it's important to them. But when we talk about values and stuff, the things that aren't to goals, and the things really cool that usually comes out is a community, loyalty to country, loyalty to family. Those are things that are really important to them. The word loyalty and integrity, those are very, very, very gold type characteristics.
All of those words are up there.
I know they're up there. They're just not in the list of items. So, and I mean, there's security, comfort. I mean, all of these. I mean, you have your family right there, and you know, how important family is. So, anybody have any questions for anyone else? And then I'm going to talk a little bit about.
You didn't observe that we like cinnamon rolls.
I didn't observe that. Cinnamon rolls are right here. So we have chocolate. We have dark chocolate here. We have cinnamon rolls there. Which cinnamon rolls are a very traditional, you know, kind of apple pie, you know, kind of thing. So yeah, cinnamon rolls really fit into that. So I like that. That's good. You know, so what's Facebook? What do you mean by Facebook?
I put Facebook and cinnamon rolls together. I think that shows the friendship, I guess, that I have with Christy and Annie, because we're standing on the street corner and Annie brought me cinnamon rolls. And I'd never met her before, except for through Facebook.
And I missed service, so yeah, that's another one that is very, very noticeable often and with difficult. So I would like you to, do you have a question for any of the tables? Do you have a question on why or what? I mean, I think this is, so yeah, you kind of have a good feel for, let me just tell you, when I told you that it kind of saved my marriage, and what had happened is my wife and I were raising 6 children. We had one son at the time, just graduated from high school, and I realized that we were often in conflict on how to deal with our children in particular. The two of us together alone, I mean, it was great. But when we mixed 6 children into this relationship and everything, it was really tough for us. And I found us we were often, you know, I was the one, you know, rules. You get, you know, kids need to be here and they need to be there, and they need to be doing this, and she was like, I think they're just kids. And so we were really battling with these things, and it was really bothering me, and it was hurting our relationship. And a person that I worked with invited me to come to go with him because he was being certified on doing this training, and so he invited me to go with him, and it was because I had these questions about some of these things, and went through it, and I went, wow, aha. I mean, that aha moment hit that she was a blue and I was a green, and the two really are not meant to be together. I mean, as far as if you wanted to be, you know, hardcore, both of those. So what I realized is that I needed to adapt, and that's something that Greens. Adaptability isn't on there, but that's something they're really good at. I mean, that's one of those, I'm just talking about strength of Greens. I've talked about some others. but they're willing to adapt and kind of fill some gaps. And so I went, wow, I need to change. I'm willing to accept that she is on this other side of the universe. And it isn't just, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, that kind of thing. It's because I knew, there are women that absolutely, there are Greens, and boy, I would understand that. The thing that's nice about it is once we realized it, and then I went through with her, and we talked about this, we got this all, this going, all of a sudden, everything worked for us. And if we were to do that, on the back, this chart thing right here, it's really kind of fun. You do yours, and then you do your spouse's or someone you work with, and you do kind of put it over top of it. We actually, what's the phrase? You complete. And we really did. We were almost exact opposites. And I'm not saying that you have to be, but that's the reason things work for us, is we realized that, we looked at it, we're both able to look at it, and we were able to make some decisions because of it. So, where did I set my mark? So there we go. What I'd like to do is just show you a little bit, and I know we're about out of time here, but I'd like to show you on this chart. So, I have to cheat too, to look. So, I still want you all to guess. What percent of the population would you guess are, let me put the greens here. Hate writing green and blue, but okay, go ahead. What percent of the population, and this is actually a pretty good reflection of it, so. It is the lowest.
I'd say 10%.
And 6% of the population. So let's talk about this group over here, the blues. That's the opposite. These two opposites. Blue, what do you think? Would you say? 10? 10%.
Wow.
We're also.
The next orange, I'll give it away with the 4 ahead of it. 40% are orange, which leaves what? Come on, goals, you should have this in your head already. Yeah. Okay. And I have a daughter that is this gold, and she fills every blank, and that's, I don't understand this either. Okay, because I am green orange, really high in both of those. I'm really low in both of these, but particularly this one. I think this should be 10%. So, that's, so when you look at working with other people, what I'd like to do is get someone. All right. Look, you were in this group right here, but you should have been in this group right here, so I'll just have to stand right here.
I'm like, two.
Right, you stand, no, face that way.
Okay, this is a little different.
Tell me what you see. Tell me what you can see. Tell me. No, on these. Tell me what you can see.
Okay.
Just tell me what charts you can see. No, you see, I already stepped back. You see right here.
So we don't know what directions will.
Okay. But you can mostly see. You can see.
Mostly see the blue.
See this one. You can see a little bit of this.
Yeah. And I don't see gold.
And you don't see green at all. But then you probably don't. You probably really don't.
Yeah, I'm sure my husband's agreed.
Okay, and then, this is an easy exercise, but if you were to stand back here, you'd be able to see all of them. You keep following it. All right, but if you were to stand here, you'd be able to see everything, right? But I want you to turn around. Now what do you see? is meet the people. That's the trick. It's called, it's called the maturity spectrum as part of this. Every one of us are on this line, or somewhere on this line. And we know what we are. We know who we are, because as Frankie Covey said, and it's written around the front of this manual, says, all of us think we see the world as it is, when in reality, we see the world as we are. And there's a lot of other people other than ourselves. And as we get more mature, and we realize that. We realize if we want to, if we want to stay married to someone, or if we want to have a relationship with someone, we have to be willing to look at that other person and feel some of that other person's needs as well as they feel ours. Yet be open to that. So, it doesn't really matter what color you are if you're willing to turn around and look the other direction. And it doesn't matter how mature you are on that, because I can be extremely mature as a green and understand myself and then be able to work with other people. But if I never turn around and look outside and look at people, and realize that people are what really matter, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So, anyway, that's what I mean. The whole idea here, and I know that there's a lot of issues and things that are come up, and there's reasons why you're sitting on this committee. You've been asked to be on this committee, or you signed up for it. I don't know. Like I said, I worked on a city council. I've assigned people to committees. We've had people volunteer, so I'm not sure how this all worked. I did see on your website where I could fill in the blanks. You're on the committee, but I would have to be a resident. And so there's a lot. We bring a lot of different stuff, and I look at the value of that each one of you bring to this group. You have people that have been here for just 2.5 years. You have people that have been here for 30 years. How great that is that you have that kind of group. And to be able to work together and to be able to solve a city's problem by working together. What a great reward that's going to be at the end of this journey. And I doubt that it's going to be without some sort of conflict. But if you're willing to look and think of it like you deal with someone in your own household and having each other's back, you're going to be successful. And that's the challenge that you have. And there's no one who can take that away from you other than yourselves. That understanding who you are, where you came from, and understanding that everyone here has immense strengths. But we also have needs, joys. Try to see that in each other. One of the things that was told me once in a training, that if you're willing to look into someone's eyes and look at their color and think about the color of their eyes while they're talking to you, you can solve a lot of problems. It's hard to look into someone's eyes, think about the color of their eyes, and to decide. So, there we go. If you have any questions, bring it up. I encourage you, since you're getting married soon, you gotta have, them take that. Yeah, there you go. That would be fun. All right. Thank you so much. It's been really fun for me. So,
okay, let's thank you for enduring that exercise. I think that's a blue motivated exercise to try to get this thing going with people. One of the things that we need to talk about is getting together. Kathy picked this date. It was way into the future. It was based on input from the group. I want to see if there's a night that we can kind of lock down and make more of a commitment. So just thinking of, this is a Wednesday, I know Tuesday, I'm going to have council. Is everybody generally available on a Wednesday evening? Is anybody not generally available on a Wednesday? And what about the ones that aren't here?
We're only,
Generally not available?
yeah, we're only missing 2.
Are we 2 now?
Yeah, so we had, I mean, great attendance tonight. We don't have a full 18 members, that's why, but we're missing Larry Nelson and Brian William are 2 that aren't here.
And Larry expressed to me last time that this was, it sounded like a one-time thing.
Okay.
Yeah, they're,
Yeah.
they're traveling.
Yeah,
Because there's 14, there should be 16.
yes,
Yeah, because 18 would have been fully,
yes.
but we ran out of neutrals in the candidates pool. And to answer the question, everyone that's on this committee first volunteered, and then we interviewed them and found out where they fit within the spectrum of either priorly against completely moving forward with the bond, or totally in favor of it, or the people that have a hard time selecting because they either wanted to happen, but what was presented wasn't the right solution, or they didn't want it to happen, and, you know, somewhere in the middle there. So that's why we ended up with some of the neutrals that they are. So let's go for Wednesday nights. Let's plan on meeting every other week if we can accomplish that. Is that a problem for anyone?
Just my next Wednesday, no, I won't be here, and I will be here.
Okay. And that's why we have alternates. So hopefully you'll be able to watch the tape, the recording of the meeting and find out what's discussed. Have you all received either a copy or a link to the draft report? Has anyone not received it? Have you guys all read it? Has anyone not had a chance to read it? Okay. Okay.
So the next meeting is the 28th.
Be 2 weeks from now.
26.
2 weeks from today.
Can we just meet at the city council room?
We can meet at the city council.
Seems like a big room for us.
Yeah, there's not as many people came. This is something we kind of talked about, was how many people are we going to get? And looking at what Tuesday nights have been in that chamber, we were anticipating obviously far more people than have come tonight. And we might end up with that if we go back there, but maybe that's going to be easier for all of us if we do that.
Yeah, we do the second night and there's another choice. Larry, I know teaches in class tonight. He
Okay.
doesn't have, so I texted him, no, because they're in bed right now.
What about Thursdays? Does anybody have problems with Thursdays?
Larry emailed me his schedule.
Wednesdays are better? What did you say?
Larry emailed me his schedule for the next couple of weeks. The first is available, the 4th and 5th, the 8th, and the 9th.
What does that look like as far as days of the week?
The 9th is the Wednesday that.
So just the one. Okay, maybe if we go every other.
I don't know about the station, but I know he's passionate about this.
Okay. We'll communicate our schedules through Kathy, and if there's a night where it doesn't work for a lot of people, we may end up rescheduling, just because the continuity is really important.
For right now, we're meeting on the 26th.
Right now, we'll meet on
At
the
7 o'clock in the council chambers.
in the council chambers.
Mayor,
So if you add 14, yes, it's 26.
We'll put together a schedule probably until the end of the year that we'll email that out, so you just kind of have the baseline. And then if there are conflict dates, if you communicate that back to Kathy, and we find that we have, 5 or 6 people that are going to be gone, we can just cancel that evening. If we need to move it to a different night, we can. I'm assuming we're going to be doing this for a few months. So if we miss a Wednesday here and there, we're probably not, it's probably not going to kill us, but
The night before Thanksgiving might be bad.
we're not going to do that. I can promise you.
And the day after Christmas. Yeah. Jason.
Mayor, you had mentioned that we would have access to prior information that had been done related to bond. But some sort of drop off.
Scott?
Yeah, so we can set up a Dropbox, I think is what we'll do. And we have a bunch of documents and, just in my folder on my computer, I've got a couple hundred, I think. And I can just dump that all in a Dropbox. Now, some of it might need explanation because whether it's my notes or whatever. And I don't know, maybe that's one of our first meetings is I pull out maybe what I think are the things that recap. I think it'd be good if we recapped probably the last 2.5 years and kind of go through those notes and have those documents available so that everybody understands maybe the thought process on what's happened. And then, whatever documents people want, we'll figure out a way to get it to you.
Let's maybe change this just a little. Let's create the Dropbox, make sure everybody here that, has access to it. And let's just put everything in. Just put it all in there.
Okay.
Okay, everything that we have. And then as a committee, we'll kind of go through together and decide what it is we want to review, or if you want to review stuff on your own, and come up with the agenda for how we're going to go through this. Phil, did you have a comment?
I'm just wondering if we'd be better off not to even look at that and start fresh.
We can start fresh, and that's why I'm thinking, stick it in the Dropbox. If you want to look at it, you can. If you don't want to look at it, you don't have to, but it's there. So this isn't really a rehash or a continuation of what's gone on. I think we all know the history. I think what we're trying to do here is find where we're going to go. So to that end, I thought about walking us through an exercise where we define the parameters of what the possible solutions are. You know what? It's so simple, it's ridiculous. It's either do nothing or get the job fixed at the most affordable rate that we can do that. And I think this group is going to come up with what that is based on information. If you haven't had a chance to read the draft report, please do so. And if you have comments that you'd like to have them change or include with the report before they make it final, let's send these in to Kathy so she can group them together, and then we will get that to the engineers that put the document together. Okay, any other questions? What's that? Why would we change? Not change. If you have questions or if you have comments about what they've written, maybe it's not clear enough for you along that line. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just was talking to Chief Fox today, and what he said really clicked in my brain. It's not necessarily the most affordable solution, but the one that allows him to serve the citizens of this.
That's great. So when we get back together to talk about the goals, remember that because we're going to need to bring that up. I think that's very important. And hopefully everybody, through thinking about these words that we choose to use for the goals, we can wrap our head around a common goal. Any other questions or comments? Yeah. City council. Anybody else?
Some numbers would be nice for me to have, to know those options of where that at. Like you talked about the exterior building we use possibly for city offices. I'd like to know the number of how many city officials need offices.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I looked at that building and I thought, what's the goal? I voted early. I went to the extension of the police station that's used by the city. I was trying to figure out how much of that building was used by the city. They said the basement and the upper floor was all used by the city. And I was asking how many people work here in this building to try to get a count. How many people really need offices? And they talked there was 9 up above, and they didn't know for sure if there were like 10 below, so I thought that's 19. Each one has an office there. I'm counting the building over by the fire station. I thought that library is not going to hold that.
The number of people that work in the city hall part of that building.
Yeah, I was wondering what would count for that.
Scott can help us put
Yeah.
that together, quantify it.
So, and just along those lines, Kathy and I will be a resource. So, if you don't have my email address, it's sdarrington@pgcity.org. So anything you need, any questions you have, it's a great question. We can track down that information and send it out to the whole committee. And kind of how I see this, Randy, is I almost think we sit down and kind of determine the parameters of what we're going to talk about, and then we'll start delving into that type of thing. So we can get that. I'm just assuming once we get further down the road, you're going to want to know more of that stuff. And it might be best if we just wait till that moment of time, if that's okay, to say, all right, let's start cranking out the specifics as to how we can move city offices, where we can move people, how many people, how much square footage do we have. I'm assuming
So in the meantime, Scott.
What's that?
In the meantime, let's just capture it and throw it in the Dropbox.
Okay.
Okay, label it so that they can find it, number of people in City Hall. And I think I had mentioned before, Randy, why we did that study, the engineering study. And the concept was, if we were going to be able to remodel and reuse what we have, the thought was the fire group and EMS would take over that entire existing building, what they have now, plus where community development is. The community development would probably move over to that seminary building, and then the city hall people would probably go over to the Beck home. Now, whether it can be done or not, a different question. But that was the thought process. If we moved the city hall, that would free up the rest of that building for police and court. And then that kind of gives them room to. Yeah. Sure, if you don't work during the day and you want to do that, we can set that up. Just talk to Kathy and she'll arrange for a tour.
We can make it part of our meeting in 2 weeks if everybody wants to see it.
Walk through, yeah. Okay, yes.
Mayor, a couple of, sometime ago, there was a survey that was sent out to the citizens. I was wondering if these documents Scott has, I include a summary of the results of that.
The one from 5 or 6 years ago.
It's been a.
Yeah, he's got that.
Yep, I'll put that in the Dropbox.
Yeah, we'll put that in the Dropbox as well.
You did the survey.
Well, in the scope of when you have so many thousand respondents, it's probably accurate.
Was on the website.
Yeah. The website may be difficult to navigate, but I usually go search. I pick a term and I do a search. Okay, any other questions, thoughts? Okay, so the next time we get together, we focus on our overall objectives. And I really hope you don't forget this piece of it. I think it's very important to understand that most of the citizens in Pleasant Grove, well, 44%, reflect kind of these kind of feelings and thoughts and strengths and joys, et cetera. And the other 40% is kind of a group like this. And the rest of us, very small percentages, fit here. Kind of gives you an idea. You can think about this any way you want as you start thinking about why things unfolded the way they did. Look inward, look outward. I think trust issues, a whole bunch of things can be answered by understanding what makes people tick. Why do they think the way they do? If you don't give them what they need, how are they going to react? And we can use that together in our group to get past some of those issues when we discuss it. So I just want to thank you for making time and volunteering to participate in this group. And you can stay out and ask any questions or talk to Sid. Thanks for coming.